Hi, I'm Dr. Janine Bowring, naturopathic doctor, and today this is Dr. Janine's 9 in 9, all about dirty fasting. So what is dirty fasting? Well, dirty fasting is not clean fasting. Dirty fasting is the easier type of fasting in which you get to cheat, meaning that you get to have some of the things that you wouldn't necessarily have if you're clean fasting. So clean fasting means strictly water, sparkling water, coffee that's black, tea that's black, and herbal tea, again, without anything in it during a clean fast. But in dirty fasting, you're allowed to have some little cheats that make it much easier to get through your fasting cycle. And so whether you're doing your fasting to get into autophagy, maybe you're fasting to try to lose weight, or you're trying to get that mental clarity as well as that spiritual clarity for your fast, no matter why you're fasting, it's completely up to you, and you may get benefits on all fronts of mind, body, and spirit. But these are some of the things that you can do if you're going to choose to dirty fast, and especially if you're new to fasting, that will really help you to get through that prolonged fast. So tip number 1 is to add cream or half and half, it could be heavy cream, into your coffee or tea. And I find for myself, this is the saving grace. I mean, for me, not to be able to have my coffee with my with my cream would be a travesty, and I wouldn't be able to get through a fast. And I've tried to go without, and it simply doesn't happen. And in my mind, it's better that I'm doing the fast and having a little bit of these cheats as I go, and to be able to get through it and still get the benefits of doing the fast. So that's tip number 1. Tip number 2 is to add some MCT oil. So medium chain triglycerides, often derived from coconuts. Mixing that into your coffee is another cheat, and this helps to, still remain keeping you in that keto state, but also is a nice way to flavor up the coffee, but also give you some healthy fats so that it maintains your satiety, so you don't feel overly hungry. And that's a great way to do that. I know a lot of people who do this, they like to do this in the morning of the fast. So tip number 3 is to add butter into your coffee. And sometimes people will add the butter or the ghee, so the clarified butter, and the MCT oil or powder into the coffee and make it into a special coffee drink that is still keto friendly. So if you want to do this, you can mix all these things in with your coffee into a blender and drink that, and it really helps to thicken it up. It becomes like a nice fancy drink, but without any of the carbohydrates. And that's a nice way to get through those longer fasting periods, but also maintaining that ketotic state. Tip number 4 is stevia. So stevia is a natural sweetener, whether you grow it, and I actually grow it in our backyard in the summer months. You can use the leaves to sweeten things up. But if you're wanting to add some stevia leaves into or the powder, or you're going to sprinkle one of the packets into your tea or into your coffee, you can certainly do this. I find for myself, it helps me to get through those longer fasts and helps to give some liveliness, a little bit of sweetness into whatever I'm drinking. Tip number 5 is monk fruit. So monk fruit is a very, very sweet extract from the monk fruit, and it's called monk fruit because the monks used to go and pick this fruit, and then they would add it into what they were making for themselves, and often during fasts as well, to be able to sweeten up and give that sweetness to their water and their teas. So the monk fruit, again, it's not going to spike your insulin levels the same as stevia, which was tip number 4. It's going to help to maintain that ketotic state because it's not sugar, but it gives you that sweetness. And that, for me, is one of the things that I love, during the fast. The fasts are difficult enough on their own, especially if you're new to it. So adding some of these sweeteners into your herbal tea, even into your coffee, is a great way to sweeten it up without the sugar. Tip number 6 is diet soda. So the conventional ones out there that have, the artificial sweeteners, I'm not a big fan of. I don't think we should be consuming those, but certainly there are diet sodas that you can either make on your own with stevia or with monk fruit. You can also purchase them ready-made, and they contain the stevia. And this is a great way, again, to get through those longer fasts, and you feel like, especially if it's a carbonated water, it is helping to fill up your stomach and helps to get you through that non-eating period. Tip number 7 is drink mixes. So there's different mixes that you can squeeze that usually are sweetened with stevia. They've got some flavor, they've got some natural colors as well. And I like to mix these into my water when I'm doing my fasting because, again, it gives some life to the water. Water on its own for me is not the easiest thing to always drink, so I can mix that into my water, and it helps to break up the day of my fast and gives me that little treat to look forward to, again, that tastes sweet but isn't going to raise my blood glucose levels. Tip number 8 is to use broth. So it's usually not a vegetarian base, but it could be a vegetarian based broth during your dirty fast as a soup to get you through. Now, again, if you're doing a true fast, you're not necessarily going to add the food, so you're not going to add the vegetables in here. It's just a clear broth, and you can be sipping on this throughout your dirty fast, again, to get you through and to feel like you're not depriving yourself. But ultimately, a fast, and the whole idea of it is to deprive yourself a little bit of the physical food to be able to gain those benefits from doing the fast in the first place. Tip number 9 is the Dr. J9 truth, which we share in every episode of our 9 and 9s. And for the dirty fasting, my whole truth is that do what you need to do to keep yourself sane and to be able to get through the fast in the first place. I mean, the whole reason you're doing a fast is to help yourself, whether it is to lose the weight, whether it is to stabilize your blood glucose levels, maybe it is to get into autophagy to help with that anti-aging effect and for that long, healthy lifespan and slowing down the aging process. So at the end of the day, we do what we need to do to help ourselves and to get through it the easiest way possible. So whether you do the dirty fasting or the clean fasting, prolonged fasting or intermittent fasting, it's completely up to you, but know that you're doing something good for your own health. So thanks for joining me today. I'm Dr. J9. That was my Dr. J9's 9 and 9, all about dirty fasting. Remember to take care of your good health and do it naturally.